Hello there, and welcome to our virtual housewarming. Hello to everyone, and thanks for joining us today to celebrate a life-changing opportunity for two very deserving young men, Josh Conway and Devon Perry. My name is Cheryl Tuning. I'm the Easter Seals Chief Marketing Officer and the host of the event today. On screen, you'll also see Sarah Grace Britton. Wave, SG. That's Sarah Grace, one of Easter Seals UCP site directors. You'll also see Bland Baker. Give us a wave, Bland. Bland is Trillium's Northern Regional Director. And you'll also see Mary Lee Batts. Wave, Mary Lee. Mary Lee is not one of our presenters today, but she is the program coordinator for this event and the superstar who has really kept us all on track and has really coordinated and been the project manager for this event. So great, big shout out to you, Mary Lee. Thank you for all that you've done. So before we get started, let's go through a couple of housekeeping protocols. We'll have several presentations today. Some will be by video, some will be live. If you are not a presenter today, don't worry about going on mute. We have already taken care of that for you so that we don't have any interruptions. However, we do want to hear from you. So as you can see, at any given time, you can use that chat function. You can send us a question, you can send us a comment, you can send us feedback. And there will be some times that I'll actually ask you for some feedback. So please get familiar with that chat function. We want to hear from you. And then if there's no questions to get started, Mary Lee, if you tell me that we are prepared for liftoff, we can just get started.
I think we're good.
All right, at Easter Seals UCP, we are passionate about helping children, adults, and families living with disabilities and behavioral health challenges live their very best possible life. Funding from Trillium Health Resources helps us bring great programs to life. The transition to independent living smart home is just one example, and today's event is evidence of this great partnership and collaboration we have with Trillium. Trillium, thank you. We appreciate you. Easter Seals supports individuals living with a wide range of disabilities. Some are visible, some are not. We help create environments and opportunities for those that we support to live meaningful and productive lives. And oftentimes, and what we really like to do is help them live on their own terms, as we'll see today. To do this, we need a great leader. We are fortunate enough to have a phenomenal leader. Luann Welch is the president and CEO of Easter Seals UCP, North Carolina and Virginia. With more than 35 years of nonprofit experience, Luann has personally touched thousands of lives. Within 5 minutes of meeting Luann, you will quickly realize that she is a fierce driver of leadership development, talent development, and creating market-centric strategies and program expansions that, again, impact lives and make a difference. She's a turnaround leader capable of reorganizing financially challenged organizations. She is able to stabilize operations, which she has done for us throughout the years and absolutely through COVID, and positioning teams and people and programs for sustained healthy growth. This is the Luann that I have the privilege of working with every day, and it is my pleasure to introduce her to you right now. Now, this is our first video. Let's see if we can make this work.
Hi, I'm Luann Welch. We're so glad you could join us today. First, I want to thank Cindy Ellers, Christy Edwards, and the entire Trillium team for making today possible. Trillium understands innovation, inclusion, and independence. They also understand how partnerships can and do create the very best solutions for individuals, families, and communities. We also thank the event planning team that put this virtual housewarming together. Trillium's Candace Thompson and Christy Edwards, Easter Seals UCP's Mary Lee Batts, Sarah Grace Britton, Laurie Netterveen, Cindy Martin, Mark Aiken, Corey Gillis, and Cheryl Tuning. And finally, a very big and super special thank you to Sarah Grace Britton. If you know Sarah Grace, you know her dedication and commitment to this community and every member in it is a labor of love. Sarah Grace is a blessing to this community and to Easter Seals UCP. And finally, a warm welcome to the two fine young men who bring us here today, Josh and Devon. May you continue to learn, grow, and enjoy new independence in your new home. Welcome home.
All right. Thank you very much, Luann. She's awesome. Next, I'd like to introduce you to Cindy Ellers, the Executive Vice President of Clinical Operations for Trillium Health Resources. Trillium is the largest LMEMCO, which stands for Local Management Entity, Managed Care Organization. They cover 26 Eastern counties. Cindy has been a member of Trillium's executive team since 2002 and has more than 28 years of experience working in the public health, developmental disabilities, and substance abuse services system, having worked up the ranks throughout her career and many years on the front line of service delivery. Cindy is a mom and has also fostered kids. At Easter Seals UCP, we know Cindy to be innovative and a strong advocate for services that support individuals living with disabilities. It is my privilege to introduce you to Cindy Ellers.
Hi, my name is Cindy Ellers, and I'm the Executive Vice President for Trillium Health Resources. We are so excited that Easter Seals UCP is opening the Transition to Independent Living program in Ahoskie, North Carolina. Thank you so much for Sarah Grace Britton and your team in Ahoskie for bringing this innovative approach for members in Eastern North Carolina.
Thanks, Cindy. Next, I'd like to introduce you to Bland Baker. Bland is the Northern Regional Director for Trillium. He manages 10 counties in North Carolina and is the face of Trillium in the communities that he serves. He works closely with county commissioners and healthcare directors to fulfill Trillium's mission to transform lives, build community well-being through partnership and proven solutions. Now, Bland is with us up close and personal and live, so no video here, so I'll introduce you to Bland. Take it away.
Thank you, Cheryl. I appreciate it. I'm really excited to be here today to talk a little bit about this new program, the Transitions to Independent Living. Easter Seals and Trillium have really enjoyed a great partnership through the years. We've worked on lots of projects together, and today is no exception. So Easter Seals, you're a great partner. And I want to say a special thank you to Sarah Grace, because after all, Sarah Grace is a hometown girl, and I'm a hometown boy. So I've known Sarah Grace all of her life, and I'm so proud that she has such a passion for her work. And I'm so proud that she's doing it in Ahoskie, North Carolina, and the surrounding areas. So, Sarah Grace, thanks so much. So, a couple of weeks ago, I had the opportunity to visit Josh and Devon's home. I think what struck me the most was how excited they were when they met me at the door, invited me in. They were so excited, and they were so excited to show me their home. They wanted to give me that tour, and I was so ready to take it. And I think that that was one of the reasons they were so excited, because they had a lot to do with the home, the decorating, the paint colors, the flooring, especially their bedrooms. They got to pick their bed linens. They painted their rooms. They got to do all of that. And that is such a great opportunity for them, because they were in that planning stage. And so the other thing, there's so many smart home features in that home, and I won't talk about them today because I know Sarah Grace is going to talk about them. But all of those things is in that home to help make Josh and Devon successful, and I know that they will. So what I want to do now is say to Josh and Devon personally how proud I am of how courageous you are to step out and want to learn how to live independently. I mean, that's a big step. It's a little scary, but I think you all are going to do great. So I do appreciate that. And, you all are really paving the way for other people in our community that maybe they want an opportunity to live independently. They've seen what you're doing and how well you're going to do, and you'll, I guess, graduate at some point, if you call it that, so you can move on to really live independently and making room for other people. So to come in their place. So you deserve the most credit because you're the ones with the most courage. So thank you so much for doing that for this community and with this program. And with that being said, I will turn it back over to you, Cheryl.
Thank you, Bland. We appreciate you. Next, I would like for you to meet the men of the hour. We have a video that introduces Josh and Devon, and it shows how they met and their next. I'm just laughing because I read one of the comments. One of the chats said, Josh is cool as a cucumber, and you will see this in this video. So let me introduce you to Josh and Devon. Wow, this is so exciting. And it is great to see their progress. Great job, guys. And now I'd like to introduce you to Sarah Grace Britton. You've heard so many people give her shout outs, and there's just not enough accolades to say how appreciative we are for everything that Sarah Grace brings to this program. Sarah Grace has celebrated her 5-year anniversary with Easter Seals UCP just last week. And during that time, she has been one of our site directors right there in Ahoskie. And the transition to independent living smart home is really Sarah Grace's great idea. And it is awesome to see that great idea turn into reality. So it is my pleasure to introduce you to Sarah Grace Britton. And I just want to tell you that the background that you see, she is coming to you live from the smart home. She's in the dining room. So Sarah Grace, I'm going to turn this over to you and let me get your presentation up.
Great. Hello, everybody. I'm Sarah Grace, and I'm the director of Empower Ahoskie. So transition to independent living is kind of my brainchild, and I'll tell you what my ideas were in a minute and kind of what makes this home more unique to many homes that have been done in the past. Next. So this is my favorite slide, honestly, because this is my meaning right here. This is my motivation behind why I come to work every day and why my job is not just a paycheck for me. It's all about advocacy and passion for making lives better for people with disabilities. I am a sister of 2 boys that happen to have Down syndrome. The one on the left is my older brother, Cole. We call him Grumpy Old Man sometimes. On the right, we have Garrett, my little brother, and I'm the middle child that was blessed to grow up with the 2 of them, learning very many life lessons along the way. A big piece of my life has been seeing all that my brothers are capable of and seeing what awesome, amazing personalities that they have. I often wish that I could be as genuinely loving and non-judgmental as my older brother, Cole. And I wish that I could work as hard as my little brother, Garrett. But one thing that has always been a struggle for me is that I see everything that they're capable of, and I just want the rest of the world to see it through my lens. Something that hit hard for me that I'll never forget is watching their peers reach milestones that Cole and Garrett did not get to reach with their peers. They were fully emerged into a typical classroom with all neurotypical classmates. They were, pretty unique in their classroom setting, but they were had really great relationships. They were very lucky to go to such a great school. But when their friends would turn 16, when I turned 16, we'd all get our license and get a car. And, Cole didn't really care, my older brother, because he prefers to have others do for him, bring him his drink, drive him around. He's, we call him a little lazy sometimes, but we love him. But my little brother, Garrett, it was hard for him to understand, why can my big sister get a license and go out driving, but I can't? And he really wanted a red pickup truck. That was one of his goals. Then as couple of years go by, then it's time for me to graduate high school, and I moved to Raleigh, went to college, Meredith College. And every time that I would come back home, when it got time to leave again, it was really hard for my brothers and for me to be separated. And it got to a point where Garrett got really focused on, why can't I live in my own apartment in Greenville? Not sure why Greenville was the place of choice, but that was what he felt like he needed to pursue. He wanted to live in an apartment in Greenville. His friends are moving out of their parents' house. Why can't he? So to me, I honestly feel like they would be perfectly capable of doing it with just a little extra help. Next. So with that motivation of my brothers, and then just seeing my other participants in a high ski and all that they're capable of, and being amazed by them every single day, I began to wonder, like, what is going to happen to some of them when their parents begin to age. And we found this research that was done in 2015 in North Carolina that said 68% of individuals with intellectual disability live with a family caregiver. And out of that 68%, 23% of them live with a caregiver that is older than 60 years old. So the big question is, what happens when those caregivers age and aren't able to take care of their children anymore? Next. So the idea that I had is unique to other smart homes because of the phased approach idea. What I've noticed in my years as a sister, especially, but also in my years working with individuals with disabilities, is that you can't really rush them. The harder that I rush my brothers, especially, getting ready in the morning and trying to get them up for school when they were younger, the harder that you rush, the harder they're gonna stick their heels in. So something that seems to work really well is to phase them into ideas, to like slowly get them used to the idea of something and then start them out a little bit at the time. And actually that works really well in marriages as well. I use that technique on my husband and it works pretty good. So my idea for the smart home was to not only use technology for support, but also phase them into this instead of throwing them into the deep end and just expecting them to swim. This smart home will empower individuals to transition into an independent community living. And as I've said, the smart technology of it will enable on-site and remote coaching for individualized support. So here's a look at the first phases of the program. We start out with the application phase, which is they need to be part of our transition to employment program. It needs to be someone that is working on gaining employment because, as you'll see on the next slide, financial stability becomes a part in this. We then move to weekly living, where they will come every evening to the house and work on different things such as budgeting and cleaning and cooking and meal planning, but they'll only spend one night per week in the home. Then after at least a month of that phase, they'll move to part-time living. Well, they will be here every evening and they will spend 3 nights per week in the house. Then they move to full-time, where they're spending every night here and they consider this home. Next. So here's where I want it to be full independence and not just a facade of independence. I want to set them up to really achieve and not be dependent on anyone. So we're going to phase them into the financial piece of it. They will start out, they'll hand in hand be working in transition to employment to increase their hours or increase the type of job that they have, so that they can feel more financially able to do this. So as they're doing that with transition to employment, they will also phase into paying the bills and the rent. They'll start out doing 15%, and when they're ready, 25%, and then eventually they'll be paying their half of the bills and the rent. Once that is settled, they're steady, consistently going through this pretty successfully, the boys will then graduate from the house and they will move out of this smart house and move into their own place. And it will be their decision, do they stay together as roommates? it's all up to them at that point, but they will have learned and received all the tools that they need to be successful. And when they graduate, the beautiful thing is 2 new roommates will be able to move in. Next. So I think the technology is probably what the most people are interested in. When you hear smart house, what does that mean? That sounds kind of creepy. It's really not. It's actually pretty cool. We have an ALEXA that I have to spell because she'll start talking to me, but many of y'all have heard of that, I'm sure. We have one in the kitchen, and it's a video one, and then we have one in both the boys' rooms. So our staff could check on them without having to like knock on their door or go in their room. And when I say check on them, it is just a speaker. So she could drop in and say, it's time for y'all to get up, or, whatever prompting she may need to do. It also connects to our other devices. We have a smart lock. So I'm able to remotely see when the door is being locked and unlocked. There's light control. We're able to control the lights remotely, as well as put them on a schedule. So we could schedule them to turn on at a certain time and turn off at a certain time. Something pretty cool that we did with the lights as of right now is Josh is a really deep sleeper. And I know this because we've had a couple of overnight trips with transition to employment. So I've heard from his roommates that it's not that easy to get him out of his slumber. So an extra step we've taken for safety is when the smoke detector sensor goes off, we have programmed the lights to flash 5 times in his room. So that way, if he doesn't hear the extremely loud noise of the smoke detector, maybe the lights will wake him up. We have a Ring video doorbell in the front, and we have a Ring rear floodlight camera. So we'll get an alert if somebody's coming to the door at 2 a.m. And we have a thermostat that is pretty cool. And most people, after they see it, are, kind of jealous and go buy one for themselves. It's just a really good way to teach the boys about saving money, because we're able to program the thermostat. We can control it remotely, and we can also program it so that a certain time of day when we know that Josh and Davon won't be home, we could have, the temperature set higher and save a little money in the summertime. The oven sensors. So right now, the way we have ours programmed is that if the oven is on for 15 minutes and there's no motion detected in the kitchen for that 15 minutes, the speaker in the house will say, y'all check the oven. And if nobody checks the oven, then we will then get an alert to call and check in on the boys. And then there's motion sensors in every room. So if there's motion going on in the living room at 3 a.m., that will send an alert to the staff's phone, and they'll be able to check on Davon and Josh and see what's going on. Next. So not only is the technology really cool, and Josh and Davon just happen to be really into technology anyway, so that's another fun part of it, because they've gotten really into learning about all of this stuff. But it also allows us to save money. And, it helps because you don't have a staff that's there all the time in their faces, like watching them like a babysitter. These boys are high functioning. They don't need somebody spending the night just to make sure that they're safe, but we also want to make sure that they are safe without hovering. So that's where the technology is very beautiful, because it allows them that independence. But it also means that we don't have to pay $35,000 a year for an overnight awake staff that may not even be necessary. So with this model, we do have the staff on call overnight, and we pay the on-call staff a stipend, and it ends up being about $7,300 per year, which would save over $27,000 each year in staffing costs. Next. Our staffing model is pretty simple. There's a transition to independent living coordinator, which is Miss Julia Robinson here in Ahoskie. She's been with me at our Empower program for probably, we think, about 4 years, and she has been one that has always done really well with expecting more out of the individuals and not just, oh, they don't want to wash the dishes right now, and letting it go. She pushes them, and she pushes them appropriately. She knows what they're capable of doing, and she expects them to do it. And, you know, I think there's a common phrase around Easter Seals that is, Miss Julia don't play. So they know if Miss Julia says it's time to wash dishes, you know, you got to wash dishes, because she knows you can do it, and you're not going to fool her. So she's been a fantastic piece of this whole startup, and she supervises the program. She helps with developing the curriculum. So the things that they're working on in the evenings, like the practicing budgeting and learning about meal planning and how you plan out your meal for Monday through Saturday, and you go to the grocery store one time, and you don't just go in the grocery store blindly and end up coming back with a bunch of junk. She's teaching Davon and Josh those things. She'll also be on call overnight. She also has a transition coach that will assist her in facilitating the curriculum in the evening, as well as being on call overnight. Next. So this is TJ on the left here, and I just really couldn't talk about the Smart House without giving a shout out to TJ. Another one of the many cool things about this project has been that Josh and Davon are the pioneers. We tell them they're the celebrities all the time. We actually, back at Transition to Employment, right now they're all gathered around the TV watching this, and we have the red carpet out in the hallway that Josh and Davon walked on, because they are celebrities. But in seeing Josh and Davon do this, it has caused other people in our program to think that they could too live independently. Maybe they never thought about it before, but they're sure thinking about it now. And the reason I shout out TJ is because towards the beginning of creating this program, TJ came up to me and he said, I'm gonna live in the Smart House next. I started washing dishes at my house because I need to be responsible, so you'll let me live in the Smart House. And every single day since then, he checks back in with me on how I'm feeling about the idea of him living in the Smart House. So Josh and Davon are being amazing role models to their peers, and it makes me really happy to see that things that some of these individuals may have never even thought were a possibility, they're now like, oh, I could do this. And it's my goal and hope that one day, with the generosity of Trillium and Easter Seals always being so supportive, one day maybe this could be an even bigger thing, where we have a whole community of individuals with and without disabilities living in, you know, sort of a college complex type feel, where they're all a community and can help each other out and feel fully immersed into living independently in the community. Next. And this last picture, y'all probably can't hear it, but that little kitten right there has been meowing the whole time I've been talking. It's a little distracting, but she is a wild little thing. So the story with that's Jada. Josh, who's on the left, he's going to be bringing his cat Mish to come live in the Smart Home, and he actually was very firm with me about this. He said, if Mish isn't going, I'm not going. So I was like, okay, you can have Mish, it's fine. So, but then it just so happened, Davon has always loved kittens, And it just so happened that there was a kitten that was stuck in a vehicle in our parking lot one day. And Mr. Wesley that works at Easter Seals, a husky, rescued the kitten. And I was like, wait a minute, I know exactly what we're going to do with that kitten. And I took him to Davine and I said, Davine, congratulations, you're a papa. And he was very hesitant and not sure if he could handle it. But as time has gone on, he is a little bit obsessed with his little kitten. And it's pretty cool that it kind of goes hand in hand with him learning how to live independently. He's also learning how to be responsible for someone other than himself at the same time. And so that's the little kitten in this picture. And that's all for my presentation.
Sarah Grace, you are amazing. That was so awesome. I am so glad to work alongside you. You are a visionary, but you are a visionary with passion. And let's see, Joy just said, very impressive. I mean, that was great. So now is not only can Joy have a comment, is there anyone else that has a comment or feedback or maybe a question? All right, well, this is the point where I want to make sure that everybody's paying attention. So I have a question for you. Sarah Grace threw me off when she started dispensing marital advice. So that'll be our next webinar. But on this one, let's talk about the smart technology. What types of smart technology did you see today? So everybody is encouraged to participate, use that chat function, and tell me about the smart technology that you remember seeing. Let's see what the folks are saying. Candace says Alexa. So Sarah Grace, I'll say it so you don't have to. Let's see, lots of kudos for Sarah Grace. Lindsay says, I love the Ring. Corey, one of our IT guys who has helped us tremendously, says smart lighting. Cindy Ellers says the Ring doorbell. Everybody remembers the Ring doorbell. Paul says the oven sensor. Let's see, other folks are saying Alexa and Ring. Jennifer says using the lights to wake up in the morning. Sounds like Josh needs those. Josh, we're going to get you up. Michelle says lights on and off. Okay, so Drury was really an overachiever here and says Alexa, oven, thermostat, lights, and all the integration with everything working together. Thanks, Drury. Smart locks, temperature controls, thermostat, motion sensors. So as you can see, there is a lot of technology in the smart home. And so there's a question for you, Sarah Grace, and Paul says, can the oven be turned off remotely?
No, I don't believe that it can. The sensor in the oven is mostly just a little thing that shows when it's on, but it doesn't actually control it turning on or off.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? All right, well, so far we have heard from the Trillium team, we've heard from the Easter Seals UCP team, and now it's time for what I like to call the big show and the reason that we're all here. It is so exciting and it is with great joy. I cannot wait to show you this video. And this is the actual virtual housewarming where you will see the home. You'll see Josh and Davon in their home. And yes, I see that I see that Mary Lee is turning us off. So they're going to turn everyone off but me. And we are going to see a video of Josh and Davon in their smart home.
I'm grateful that he's trying to get independent because he's needed. He's a grown man, so he needs to have his independence. And I'm glad that somebody guiding him to be independent. So I'm very happy.
We needed to modernize the home by pulling out all of the carpeting and replacing it with vinyl flooring, and we painted the house. Josh and Davon were very involved in picking out things in the house such as the paint colors, picking out the LVP flooring, picking out furniture, and did it based off of the budget that they were given. And they have now been very involved in the decorating part of the house. So tell me all about your bedroom.
Big green walls. I had 2 closets.
2 closets?
Yes. This is living room. And this is dining room right here.
And they have a full laundry room. Davon, tell me about the house.
This is my bedroom. Well, all the walls are gonna be like blue. My bed's gonna be right there. Our big backyard.
It was awesome that Davon and Josh created their very own roommate agreement.
I'll get the small bedroom. I get the bigger bathroom. He has the bigger bedroom. He has a smaller.
Are you on board with that deal?
Yes.
Josh and Davon's house is extremely exciting because they have technology that allows staff to monitor them 24/7. We have technology ranging from the doorbell all the way to the smart oven. We've been referring to the smart house as a test house where Davon and Josh get to practice living independently with the safety net of the technology. And our hope is that eventually they will phase into complete comfort of independence without having to rely on the backup of the technology. Oh gosh, Davon left the oven on. Davon,
Yes.
you left the oven on.
Oh, okay. I'll go get it.
It was kind of funny watching the guys get used to Alexa.
Alexa, play 2000s music.
Davon tried to play hip hop, but Alexa gave him country music instead. It was pretty hysterical. Josh and Davon are ready for this next big step, and Easter Seals UCP will be there to support them along the way.
And I was excited but nervous at the same time, but I feel like Easter Seals is offering an amazing program and an amazing opportunity for him to live independently.
Thank you, Easter Seals, Julia, for our brand new smart house.
Yay!
Yeah! Let the party begin.
I've seen that video so many times and it just never gets old. Josh and Davon, we are so proud of you. And I know in the beginning, Luann gave shout outs to the team and the planning team, but I just want to reiterate one more time. I want to say thank you to our IT team, Corey and Mark, for making sure that our Zoom call went smoothly, that there were no interruptions, no blips, and the videos were all great. I want to say thank you to Cindy Martin, who put together all of the videos. The footage that you saw was all taken by Sarah Grace. So Sarah Grace took the video over several months, sent it on to Cindy Martin, and Cindy Martin and the rest of the marketing team and the planning team just took all of that footage and put it together. So thank you very much. And of course, again, I say thank you to Mary Lee, and I cannot go any farther without saying, Trillium, thank you so much. This is your work in action, and we really, really appreciate it. So Josh and Davon, you are well on your way. It is my understanding that you actually move into the new smart home tomorrow. And for those of you that say, well, now what's next? I am hoping that you'll begin to follow us if you're not already on social media. We are going to continue to chronicle and journey all of the things that are happening with Josh and Davon. So please stay tuned for that. We'll show you what's going on with them. We'll check in with them, maybe have some live chats and some live video with them as they continue their journey on their smart home. So now again, I am opening up the floor to our guests to see if we have any questions. Let's see. I'm seeing lots of congratulations. I'm seeing lots of awesome. Great job, Josh and Devon. You're going to do fantastic in your new home. Let's see. I see it was awesome to see this video. Amazing. Somebody, Josh says, John says, Josh was my dog sitter. So he likes dogs and cats. Josh and Devon, super proud of you. That was from Corey. And from Davon's grandmother, she says, I thank you so much for this program. Miss Rowe, we are so glad to have you, and thank you very much for your comments. Anything else? If it is not, I just want to say thank you for joining us today. I've had many people that have texted me and said, wow, it sure would be great to see a recording of this. And so guess what? We have recorded it. So we will make sure that everyone that was on the call today, that you receive a link to that video, and it will be available for you to share with your friends and families. And like I said, please continue to follow us on social media so that, oh, I hear that Davon's mother is here as well. So that is exciting. So please continue to follow us on social media so that you can see more of Josh and Davon as they continue their story. If there is nothing else, I say thank you once again. And Josh and Davon, congratulations. Thank you. Bye-bye.